and thank you for joining me. My name's Laura Mackey. I'm sharing with you today my projects for December's Global Creative Project Tutorial Bundle. It was our choice this month, which I really struggled with because I love so much of the July to December mini catalogue. It's full of Christmas goodies and I love it all, so it was really hard to pick a favourite. But in the end I chose the Blackberry Beauty. Are they called Blackberry Beauty? I hope so. I'm just going to double check that. I'm sure they're called Blackberry Beauty. Yeah, Blackberry Beauty designer series paper, but I opted to go a little bit different because I don't think you'd probably look at these straight away go, oh, Christmassy, but I have made a cute little cutlery holder with featuring the tailor-made tags. I've hand cut out one of the owls there, and then I've heat embossed, as you can see, the 'Tis the Season. Got a gold napkin in there, got some of the designer series paper there and underneath. So cute little cutlery holder, cute little favour, which is made using the, can't remember what they're called either. Oh, the Pretty Pillow Box die. And the little tag there comes in with the dies. I've added a little bit of DSP on the front. And some of the gold shimmer ribbon, and inside I've popped some little Benedict's, I guess they're like after dinner mint chocolates, so they're quite easy to recreate, and if you're mass producing, actually everything that I've made is really easy to make, and it's pretty quick. So if you've got a dinner event coming up, that you could quickly rustle up 4, 6, 8 of these in no time at all. I think the longest it takes is possibly to fussy cut the owl, which is obviously, you don't have to necessarily use the owls, you could use whichever papers you wanted. This place card is really simple to make again, and this here printed with my name on this one. I just created using my laptop on a Word document, and then cut it to size to fit onto my place card. So let's get in and let's start showing you how to make my little table place settings. Right, so let's start with making our cutlery holder. We're going to start by cutting our cardstock for the body of the cutlery holder. Now we're going to need it 21 centimeters by 18. Now the cardstock this way measures 21 centimeters already, so I'm going to just trim the length this way down to 18. Then we're going to add some score lines at 5 centimeters, 6.5, 11.5 and 13. And then we're going to turn and score along the bottom at 1.5. Then we're going to scoot up to 13.5, and all we want to do in there is we're going to just, not with the cutter, we're just going to score between them two score lines, and then we're going to move along from 13.5 to 15, and we're going to do the same again. We're just going to cut between them two score lines. So I'm going to just lift my blade, drop it back down, and then I'm going to just carefully cut between those two score lines. So those two outer score lines. Just bring my trimmer out of the way and then I can show you a close-up. So you can see there just the score line there and the cut line here between those two score lines. Okay, right, so now we're going to bone fold all our score lines. Give them a really good burnish. And that bottom one. We'll do that other one in one moment. We're going to do some trimming away. Ooh, the bone folder's alive. We're going to trim away this bottom right hand corner. And then here I'm just going to trim up, and I'm literally just cutting out the score line. So just carefully cutting up either side of that score line. That just takes away any bulky bits. So when you stick the base together, it's just nicer getting rid of that all that extra score bit there. You'll see what I mean when we do the bottom. So we're going to cut down to that first or the second score line, the very bottom one there, and then this should come out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just taper these just very slightly and notch in with a V. This bit here I will show you on my original. Let's just pull all those bits out. Once you've been following me for a while, you'll realise I don't like raw edges of cardstock. There's a time and a place for it. On a card, it's fine, but on my 3D things, if I can get away without raw edges, I will. So this piece across the top here, which I'm just going to now turn over and bone folder, is going to be this piece here. So as you can see, there's no raw edges there. I just think it looks neater. It's stronger, that if you wanted to not let your guests take these and you wanted to be able to bring them out year on year, they should, in theory, they'll last longer. Okay. So we're going to stick those 3 pieces down here. Just add in a little bit of adhesive on each of those. And just burnishing them down, just squidging all that glue out. You're going to then bring this piece round, and those 2 here are going to stick on top of each other. Again, they're just, the double thickness there will just reinforce it and just make it that little bit stronger and sturdier. Putting a generous amount of liquid glue on there. If you prefer tape, go with tape, but this, you do need to have a little bit of wiggle room. So when you bring everything down, you're just making sure your bottoms line up nicely, and then that your top piece is all lined up nicely. Okay. And then we're just going to turn these in. So we're going to put those 2 pieces in, these round, and then I'm bringing the one that's at the front, will be at the back, so my join will be at the back there. Just adding a piece of adhesive onto there. And this is where I was saying, just getting rid of those notches of the score lines. It just means here and here, it's just a lot neater, and there's no overhanging of any cardstock. So then you're going to cut your 2 pieces of DSP, which are 4.5 by 11.5, so 4.5 by 11.5, and they're the same. I did this one, the one that goes on the inside at the back doesn't in theory need to be quite that long, but I just thought it was easier for you to cut. And if you're mass producing, it's easier if you cut everything, if you're going to cut 2 of the same rather than having to remember 2 different measurements. And then that one is just going to slip in there behind. So just add in adhesive onto the back of that, just sliding that in. I'm just going to put my bone folder in there just to give it a rub on the inside, just to make sure that DSP is stuck down. Just adding my adhesive now to my second piece of DSP, and that's going to stick onto the front. I'm a fan of liquid glue just because it gives me a little bit of time to make sure all my borders are nice and neat. If you prefer Seal Plus or Seal, go with it, but I just like the liquid glue because it gives me a little bit of time for wiggle room. So right, so let's make our tag. for my tag, I've used the Craft cardstock, just because I liked the colour of it with the, I thought it was quite earthy, quite liked it with this papers. So I'm just going to get my plates, excuse my arm reaching in there. So I'm just going to die cut a tag. Oh, my grid sheet's all over the place. Sorry about the camera, I'm sure that's wiggling too. Oh. So there's my tag. Just put those out of the way for the minute because we will need that again. Oh, do we need, yeah, we need the machine again, but I don't think we need these tags anymore. We're then going to heat emboss our greeting, which I haven't got the stamp set, so bear with me. I've realised I left that in the wrong place. Excuse my trolley. So I'm using the Christmas to Remember stamp set. Oh, it doesn't quite fit on that, so I'm going to use that like that. Let me grab a piece of paper just to catch I only need, in theory, I only need a little piece of Blackberry Bliss cardstock. And we're going to heat emboss in gold. Hadn't got any of those bits ready, which is really annoying. So I'm just going to use my embossing buddy there just to get rid of any static on the card. I'm going to use the Versamark ink pad just to just, oops, can't pick it up. Right, I'm just going to heat set this with my heat tool, so you're going to have to excuse the noise for a moment. One hadn't plugged her heat tool in either, so I do apologise. Just give that a quick blast. There we go. So I've heat embossed that. It does look lovely on the Blackberry Bliss cardstock. Let me just tip that back into there. Oh my word, I've made like one thing and my desk is a mess. I hope yours looks the same. So this greeting, I actually just cut this by hand, just gave it a little bit of a border. So you could, if you were making these in bulk and you were using, say, this one, you could do mass produce, so heat emboss them all together and then sit in front of the TV and cut these out. I added these on a couple of dimensionals, she says, here somewhere, just in that corner. And then I've got some owls here ready for me to fussy cut. Now, if you don't want to use the owl, you don't need to. I'm a bit of an owl lover. Do like an owl me. So these papers might have been the only reason I bought these papers. Well, that, and I love Blackberry Bliss and Rich Razzleberry. But yeah, I do love an owl me. I've got lots of them around my house, and my daughter loves to go around and turn them all around because she doesn't like looking at their faces, apparently. Little humbug she is. Apparently they scare her. Who knew, hey? Who knew owls were scary? But there, these ones are definitely not scary, are they? That, or I might put her off her dinner, as I'm going to actually make these for our table at Christmas. So I'm just going to add one glue dot behind my owl. And I'm going to sit him there so he looks just like he's landing on the tag. Like that. I'm also going to add some of these gilded gems, because these must be my favouriteest. I use them on everything, I really do. So I'm just going to add 3 of these. Oh, my putty's all not on the end, look. Just going to stick that one and just tuck it behind there, just so it's a hint of, and there. So three little gilded gems there. Ribbon, I've used the gold shimmer ribbon, and the piece I've got here measures about 65 centimeters. I actually wrapped it round twice. So wrapped it round twice. Gonna loop it there. I'm just gonna give this a little bit more. It seems like it's a little bit on the short side. And then I'm gonna just, oh, did I bow? I actually think I bowed this, and then actually, yeah, I tied the other bit on with a bit of gold trim. So added that on there, and then you can just kind of adjust that to wherever you want it to be. And then I actually added, so you have to excuse this is the old roll, but we still carry the gold. Just gonna pop this under here. Whoops, there we go. And then I'm going to tie this on here. So this is the gold. It comes as a twin pack, gold and silver trim I've used here just to tie that on there. Not kind of left myself enough. Need to trying to be too stingy with it, so let me just give myself a little bit more to tie with. Need enough. You need to do yourself a nice size bow. There we go, that's better. I'm just going to trim that. So that is the main part, and then the cutlery. Let me just grab the cutlery. So I've then just wrapped the cutlery, so it's a gold napkin. I've just sort of carefully wrapped it round, and then it just carefully slots inside. And there you have. How quick and easy are they to make? Whoops, you can't quite see it there, going out of shot. But how quick and easy are those to make? You could easily, you're going to have cardstock, you're going to have DSP, so you can easily rustle those up in an afternoon while your meal is cooking. Just quickly rustle yourself up some nice little neat cutlery holders. And how pretty do they make your table? Right, now I'm going to share with you how I made the place card. Really quick, really easy to make. I've used 2 shades of cardstock, so I've used Blackberry Bliss and then Rich Raspberry. And size wise, I sized the place card so I can get 6 out of a sheet of A4 cardstock, but obviously you could adjust the size if you're working in inches, but mine measure 9.9 centimeters by 10.5, and then you're going to score it in half at 5.25. Okay, so that is your little tent fold little card there. Your contrasting cardstock is going to be cut to 4.6 by 9.3, and that just carefully or neatly sits on there with a border of the Blackberry Bliss. And then we have got, I've pre-printed Paul and Phoebe, and I'm going to just show you then. So if I was printing these for something, I would carefully, so I could get more out of a sheet, but it's what you want to cut this for is 4.4. So I'm just going to kind of, I don't know how Phoebe's name is quite long, so I'm not quite sure if she's going to actually fit. I might have to resize. Oh no, so height wise she's okay. So height wise it's 4.4, and then the length is 9 centimeters. So I'm just going to, I like to sit it in my trimmer there so I can kind of judge. It literally just fits Phoebe. But obviously I could actually resize that if I wanted, because it's possibly a little bit bigger than I would want it, but it's done now and I'm not printing it out again, but you guys get the idea. You could, if you wanted, leave these blank and you could handwrite your guests' names on. You don't have to print them. If you've got really neat writing, your writing would look perfect anyway. So just adding a little bit of adhesive on there, and just then going to pop that on. And then to finish, I've got one of my owls again. So quickly fussy cut him. Just quickly fussy cut him. So Phoebe's my daughter, and as I was saying, she doesn't overly love owls, so she's probably going to hate her place card. I'm not actually sure how many people we're having over for Christmas this year. Me and my mum take turns, so one year she hosts Christmas and then the following year I host Christmas. I'm sure it's my turn this year though, but I'm not 100% sure. But if we don't have them at Christmas, we will have them between Christmas and New Year. So either way, these will come into play, and I will definitely, feeling super organized that I've got them ready. So I'm going to pop a, no, I'm not going to pop a glue dot, because I'm going to actually just tie a bow quickly with the gold trim. Like I say, this is the old roll of gold trim. I had got a massive stash of this stuff because I loved it the first time Stampin' Up had it, then it retired, and then it came back, and I'm still using up my old stash, although I have got a new stash as well. But I love this stuff. I was gutted when it went, so when it came back, as you can imagine, I was super excited. So I'm just adding a glue dot, which that then just harnesses that in place. Now I'm going to bring in a dimensional, and I'm going to just sit my owl on top of the knot. So it's just got that little accent of gold foil there behind the owl. Okay, so there is your place card. How simple and how easy are those? Even if you didn't make the cutlery holders and you just wanted to quickly rustle something up, they really add a little pretty effect to the table. And I've just realised I've not even spelt my daughter's name right. She should have an E in there. So that blames me for rushing. So I'm going to have to redo this one, or carefully cut out and pop something over the top. Shush, don't tell her I've done that. Right, now I'm going to share with you these are so easy, and I love that Stampin' Up bring out these little dies like this, because these are perfect for when we want a really quick simple gift, or like I'm using them today to make the table favors. So let me show you how quick and easy they are to make. I need Big Bertha because this die, just show you the die, this die won't fit through the mini machine, which is really frustrating, but I'm going to use my big machine, and I'm going to use a piece of Oscar actually, that of Blackberry Bliss that I've got there to hand. So I'm just going to run this through the machine. Like so. So that's one piece done. Also going to run it through again with a piece of DSP. Now DSP, I'm just going to use a scrap. This is about 4 centimeters, 5 centimeters by 11, and I'm just going to run it through again. Just carefully pop that. I'm just going to scoot that there, just don't want to miss any of the top of that flutedy bit, so just running it back through. And then, oops, there. So that's for my detail on the front. And then we're also going to die cut a tag with, I must have a scrap here of craft cardstock, she says. She's hopeful. I definitely cut. Oh, if only you could see the kerfuffle going round here, my table here. Oh, I can't even find my, whoops. Ah, here we go. So I'm just going to cut a tag there. I lost my shim now, it goes on the top, my plate. Just cut this through. So there's our tag. Let's move everything out of the way. Ooh. Right, so let me assemble this and show you how it goes. So this, I'm going to just fold it, but there is a very dainty, very pale score line, which we're going to carefully cut across. I don't know if it's more visible on the, it actually could be more visible on this side. Yes, it is. So I'm just going to carefully cut across there. And this is what is going to give us, so you could leave it so it's all the same colour, but I just thought the little bit here just adds a little bit more detail. Excuse me. Now I always find when I'm adding bits to things like this, it's easier to apply the glue to the actual thing rather than adding it to this, and this bit is a little bit flimsy, and this way you can just kind of smidge it around the glue a bit and then pop it on. Give it a good burnish down. Then gonna find that score line there and burnish that well. And again. Now these score lines on the side here, you just have to sort of persuade them. And then I kind of just use my bone folder just to kind of give it a bit more definition, I suppose. Just carefully pushing it in, and then it will just gradually find that score line that the die has cleverly popped in there for us. And again there. Now, how this comes round is these two are going to sit over the top, whoops, of these ones. They do take a little bit of encouraging, gentle persuasion, and they will sit over the top. Okay, so I'm gonna add a little bit of liquid glue there, and you just need to hold it for a few minutes just to get it to hold into place. And then the same again this side. So gently persuade it. It does take a little bit of gentle persuasion, shall we say. And then just hold it again, just so it takes stick. I'm just going to give the lid a little bit of bone folding as well, just to encourage it to sort of roll over there. Now inside mine, I popped a couple or one. I actually bought a box of, show you what I bought. And actually most of these are Benedict's chocolates. They will take 2 of those ones. They just about fit inside, or they will take just 1 of the larger ones. The stick ones, you'd only get about 1 of those in, but I've been eating those ones because I knew they didn't fit very well. So I'm going to pop 2 of those in. Mints are quite nice, aren't they, for after dinner? After dinner mints. So that is what those are. They are Benedict's mint collection, but other mint chocolates available. You don't necessarily need those particular ones. Is what I'm going to do then is I'm just going to hole punch the front there. Now I have completely run out of this shimmer ribbon, which is really frustrating. I've completely demolished. I've had 2 rolls and I've gone through the lot. So I'm going to have to improvise with something else. Just going to get this is my Merry stamp. I'm going to put my glue out of the way, and I just added Merry. I'm just going to have a dummy run on my grid sheet, and that is going to go just at the bottom of my tag. Merry. We've got another owl, and this time I've used the different owl, so his wings are more together. And I'm going to just give him another fussy cut. It's a good job we get 2 sheets of this in a pack, because I've nearly demolished a sheet of owls. Careful not to cut his feet off. Round and round. Once you've cut a few of these out, they actually become really easy. And because he's all fluted around his feathers, around his wings and stuff, you actually don't have to be that careful. So I'm just going to pop 1 dimensional on the back of him. And he just sits on there. Do just need to pop a loop of ribbon through, or foil trim through there. Let me find some other ribbons. So in theory, in the ideal world, we'll be using the gold shimmer. But like I say, I've used all my gold shimmer. I'm going to use this. This is I've got some more of this ribbon coming, so I will change it, but this will do just to demonstrate to you. In fact, that looks horrendous. Might not look so bad actually if I coloured it with a little with a Stampin' Blend maybe. But this is just really for just showing you, just tying it up. So through the hole that we added, just tying that ribbon on. I'm just going to trim that off, and then whoops, our little tag here, just going to thread that through, and then that goes through and behind there. Whoops. There we go, and then that just ties onto there with another bow. Losing my tag. There we go. I just love the layering and the elaborateness of the double bow. You don't necessarily need to add a bow, you could just do it on a little loop. But yeah, so you get the idea there. In the ideal world, the gold looks so much nicer. Let me just grab all three things so you can see. My poor daughter, where I spelt her name wrong. I'm going to move that one out of the way because that is the ideal one. But I hope you have fun creating some beautiful table decorations for your Christmas table. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye-bye.